Hi, my name is Heather Lloyd. I'm Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Greywood Developments. And I want to thank everybody for joining us here today. We have a very exciting new community to share with you, our Park South at Fish Creek Exchange in Calgary. Move to the next slide. Our presentation today is going to be approximately 30 minutes. And we're very mindful of your time. So if you have any questions, please feel free to just drop them into the Q&A box down at the bottom, and our team will follow up with you after the presentation. Today, you're going to be hearing from three speakers aside from myself: Patrick Briscoe, our Vice President of Development in Calgary; Kimberly Poffenroth, Real Estate Specialist with Calgary Economic Development; and of course, Kaylee Kelly, our Regional Sales Manager in Calgary, responsible for leading our sales team out west. Before we get started though, I thought I'd just tell you a little bit more about Greywood. We'll go to the next slide. For those of you who haven't worked with us before, we're a private investment management company that specializes in real estate of exceptional quality across Canada. This past year, we celebrated our 35th year in business. And over those 35 years, we've developed more than 29,000 units. Currently, we have 4,100 units under development valued at $3 billion. Some of those projects I'm hoping are going to sound familiar to you: the Ritz-Carlton Hotel and Residences, Peter and Adelaide, Ocean Club, Wonder Condos, 250 Lawrence, Scoop and Scout Condos, and of course Jack Condos at Jarvis and Carlton, which we launched this past fall. In Calgary, we've completed phase 1 of Fish Creek Exchange and are currently under construction with our inner city condominium, the Theodore, which also I think is a little bit familiar to you guys. We'll move to the next slide. Much like the rest of the world, 2020 was a year of adapting for us, but luckily for us, we came out on top with some great successes. We acquired some new properties, we launched Jack Condos, and we closed another successful real estate fund. With a strong foundation and a strong team, we're heading into what we think is going to be a very exciting 2021. The maps that I'm showing you on this slide show you kind of just a big snapshot of what we've got going on in both Toronto and Calgary. There's 12 communities in total, and we just color-coded them to let you know kind of where they are in the process. The green are communities that are under construction. You can see we've got 5 in total between both cities. The blue are projects that we've recently launched, so Jack Condos right in the center there. Orange are projects that have recently taken occupancy, so the first phase of Fish Creek Exchange, which we'll be talking about. Yellow are projects that would have fallen into some of the successes of 2020 with our acquisitions. We've got 2 new sites in downtown Toronto and then 1 new site, Eau Claire, in downtown Calgary, which Patrick will be talking to later. And then red is what we're here to talk about today. We've got Parliament Street, which is coming soon in the Distillery District in Toronto. And then of course, Park South, which is the topic of the day. So 12 communities in total. And our pipeline doesn't stop there. Our team is always busy looking for new opportunities throughout the GTA and other Canadian markets. But they can't just be any sites. They have to go through Greywood's rigorous vetting process, ensuring that the numbers make sense and that at the end of the day, we're delivering A++ opportunities and locations that offer strong returns, not only to our investors, but also to yours. So it's with that in mind that I'm really excited to present this opportunity to you here in Calgary. Like I mentioned earlier, you're going to have 3 speakers, the first of which is Patrick Briscoe, our Vice President of Development in Calgary. He is one of the very few people to be born and raised in Calgary, so we refer to him as a bit of a unicorn amongst our team. But he has a particularly insightful perspective on the market and a great and firm understanding of what drives Greywood to be so successful in Calgary. So Patrick, I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Heather. So again, welcome everyone. I'm Patrick Briscoe, VP of Development for Greywood. Thanks again for joining us. So my main role with Greywood is to manage everything development related in Calgary, from acquisitions all the way through to delivery of completed buildings. I guess Heather has kind of highlighted, I am kind of a unicorn, so one of the few who seem to have been born and raised in Calgary. I've always found that there's been so much opportunity in Calgary that it's really a privilege that I've never had to move away. It's really nice to continue to see people from outside of Alberta and Canada fall in love with the city as well. So we sometimes get asked the question, why did Greywood choose Calgary as a market to expand into? Greywood looks to target markets for development that will demonstrate strong multi-residential drivers, including population growth and employment growth. And we're always looking for great neighborhoods that are connected to transit. This isn't necessarily limited to Toronto. Calgary is historically defined of what's going on in the resource sector, but we're seeing signs of diversification. Some of the main drivers of why Greywood likes the prospects of Calgary are listed below, and I'll kind of highlight a few more of them. So housing affordability is a key factor for growth in Calgary. Dream of home ownership is realistic and help drawing people from places like Vancouver and Toronto where affordability is challenging. Calgary is also consistently showing up on world lists of best places to live, which is a testament to the high quality of life. We are still seeing positive net migration to Calgary, where both interprovincial and international migrants are seeing the quality of life and opportunity that Calgary offers. And lastly, the high GDP per capita, and Calgary also has some of the highest wages and salaries in Canada. It's Greywood's belief that superior locations, high quality building design, prudent planning, compelling marketing are fundamental drivers of real estate value. In Calgary, we truly believe that we have found some of the best sites in the best neighborhoods in the city. These locations are supported by established communities that are close to the light rail transit and next to some of the best amenities in the city. You should take comfort in the fact that Greywood has put in the work to find the best sites that provide the most value to your clients. Next slide. So shown on the slide here, some of our current projects underway. On the left, as Heather mentioned, we have the Theodore condos, which some of you may be familiar with. So we're happy to have started construction on the Theodore last fall. The bottom right-hand side shows our Fish Creek Exchange Phase 1, which we completed our final building occupancies last summer. And we'll move on to the next slide. And I think Heather teased a little bit the Eau Claire project, which is currently in the planning approvals process. So this is a little bit of an exclusive teaser to our Eau Claire project. It is one of the last riverfront locations in the city, in the prestigious community of Eau Claire, which is right in the downtown core. So we'll be looking to launch Eau Claire potentially late 2021, and we're really excited about the prospects. We have a 18-story building with 211 suites and fantastic river views. So we actually flew a drone over the site in the top right, which highlights some of the amazing views down the Calgary River Valley from downtown Calgary. So overall, Greywood loves Calgary. We also love the opportunities it presents in terms of great neighborhoods and the emerging communities that we hope you will fall in love with it too. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Kim Poffenroth with Calgary Economic Development, who is a little bit more of an expert at Calgary than I am, and she can give you a little bit more background on what is on the horizon for the city. Next slide.
Thank you very much, Patrick. So I am here to talk a little bit about Calgary, a city that I love, and I am also one of those unicorns. So born and raised in Calgary, and it's one of my favorite places. So I'm going to give you just a brief overview of some of the new trends that we are seeing in the Calgary market. And then after this presentation, I will send out kind of a longer slide deck and a little bit more information that you can refer to when you are looking at the Calgary market for potential investments. So with that, to the next slide, please. All right, so Calgary is building on our strengths to prepare for the future. This is a big point that I'm going to talk about. If you don't mind just switching to the next slide. And why invest in Calgary? Well, it is no secret that Alberta has been hit by a double whammy in terms of the oil and gas downturn and the COVID pandemic. However, in the midst of this double whammy, there have been some bright lights and emerging trends that we are seeing in the Calgary market that is setting us up for a future success. Next slide, please. But before I talk about some of these emerging trends, one of the biggest points that I love to touch on is Calgary is ranked the #1 city to live in North America, and it's also ranked 5th most livable city in the world. So it has perfect scores in stability, healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Something that I can definitely attest to. Next slide, please. And of course, with the city of Calgary, quality of life is huge. And if COVID has taught us anything, it's how much we really value the outdoors, especially when we're cooped up inside all day. So with an hour drive from the Calgary downtown, you're in essentially where this photo is taken. So we do offer some of the most beautiful landscapes in the world in close distance. So hiking, mountain biking, skiing, for anyone who's into that adventurous lifestyle, that is something that we offer. In addition to this, it is a cold day, so a little bit of an anomaly when I'm talking about it, but these really cold days aren't so bad in the grand scheme of things. They only happen a few times a year, and on average, we are the sunniest city in North America. So, you know, when I go to Vancouver, I'm always hit with a little bit of a wave of seasonal depression, whereas at least in Calgary, when it's freezing cold out, the skies are blue and it is sunny. And I can't even tell you how much of an impact that makes on your livelihood. So just a few factors in terms of quality of life. And I'll switch to the next slide, please. And as you can see with this chart here, Calgary, when compared to other major cities in the world, including Vancouver, Toronto, San Francisco, New York, does rank the highest in terms of quality of life. And two of the biggest factors that really stand out to me, as well as clients that we're working with at Calgary Economic Development, are of course the low cost of living, which I believe Kaylee will be touching on in terms of Park South later, and also the drive time. Sitting in commuter traffic is not, you know, comparable to what you see in the other big cities across the world. So just a couple points that stand out for quality of life here. And with that, I'll go to the next slide. So of course, I can definitely speak to the quality of life. However, Calgary Economic Development was looking at what was happening in the Calgary market and decided that Calgary really needs to focus on a few new industries. So of course, while oil and gas will always be a big part of the Calgary market, we launched a new economic strategy coined Calgary in the New Economy in 2018 with the purpose of diversifying. I will be sending this out after. However, in summary, Calgary in the New Economy really focuses on 4 pillars of our economy: talent, place, innovation, and environment, so the business environment. And next slide, please. And within this new economy framework that we have been rolling out within the Calgary market, our vision is really that we are the choice of city for the world's best entrepreneurs who are embracing technology to solve the world's greatest challenges. And that's what Calgary is really working towards, while still supporting the other industries that have maintained growth in the Alberta market for years and years. Next slide, please. So within this new framework of Calgary and the New Economy, we're actually seeing a huge demand and growth in the tech sector. Right now, we are forecasted to spend $18.4 billion in Alberta by 2022, and that is currently on pace. Next slide. So within this tech sector growing demand that we are witnessing in Calgary, we do have some good news stories as of late within the tech sector. So really, you know, we did see Benevity, a Calgary-based company valued at $1 billion. We've seen Cement just recently, as of yesterday, raise $100 million for a Calgary-based tech company. And to be quite honest, in my work at Calgary Economic Development, I am seeing companies come in, from all areas looking at Calgary as potential. So we are starting to attract that international investment from the tech world for a variety of reasons. So within this graph, you can see that the demand for tech jobs is starting to grow in Calgary, and this is a result of the growing technology sector. We are anticipated to have 77,000 jobs in Alberta within technology and 38, so close to 40,000 being located in Calgary by 2023. I have definitely seen an increase of people who may have grown up in that oil and gas kind of world switch over to the technology world. And Calgary Economic Development is offering a program called Edge Up, where we actually train those who have been laid off in the oil and gas world to convert their skills to tech so that they can be applied. So we are trying to focus on, ensuring that the talent is there to grow the technology sector within the city. Next slide, please. And you can really see that growth by the fact that technology is outpacing the rest of the economy at a 6-to-1 ratio. So it's definitely something to keep your eye out on. And you're probably wondering where it's coming from. Well, a little bit of it is entrepreneurial Calgary-based companies that are seeing success and support in both the Calgary market and on the international stage, in addition to some international companies who are looking at Calgary for potential relocation and expansion sites. So one of the unique things that we do have to offer with these companies that are looking at Calgary is we were a city that was built, for oil and gas. So we built $400 barrels of oil, which means we do have higher office vacancy. However, that actually is an opportunity for new companies to come to the city. If they were looking to relocate to Vancouver, Toronto, Seattle, San Francisco, large enough companies would actually have to build their own office tower to occupy the amount of space they need, whereas, we have turnkey solutions here, which are seen as an attractive option. And next slide, please. And of course, just the tech talent savings is something that we are starting to see when compared to other cities who are considering, okay, where do we open up our next shop? So I do anticipate this to continue to grow in the Calgary market, which of course, bringing it back to the potential of investing in Calgary means that we do have plans in place for the long-term growth of the city. And next slide, please. So of course, technology is not the only sector we're supporting. We do have the key sectors of agribusiness, energy, life sciences, transportation and logistics, aerospace, financial services, and creative industries. So all industries that we're focused on supporting. I would love to dive into every one of these industries, but time won't permit for that. But just know that it's not only tech that we are trying to back and spur investment in the Calgary market for. And next slide, please. And of course, just focusing on our growing ecosystem is a huge factor to spurring growth, spurring investment, and continuing to keep Calgary as a strong and desirable city to both live, invest, and play in. Next slide, please. So with that, when we are talking to companies, from across the world here, one of the things that does stand out when we're looking at attracting an entrepreneurial spirit to the city is that we are a city of decision makers. So we have the highest concentration of head offices per capita in Calgary, a really young and educated workforce. And that is something that, will continue to hold on to long-term growth within the market. Next, please. So this slide just showcases some of the various companies that are hiring, that have job openings, that, are trying to attract that talent and those people to the Calgary market, that aren't just focused in that oil and gas sector. So really showcasing the diverse economy that we have and that we're continuing to grow in the city. Next slide, please. And of course, I won't spend too much time on this, but connections to the rest of the world through a big international airport and being on that West Coast time zone is attractive for many people looking at where to locate within Canada. Next slide, please. And of course, another option or another attractive feature that we are seeing from both a residential and a business standpoint is the low taxes, no payroll taxes or healthcare premiums that we do offer within Alberta. So it does make, investing or moving your business to this market as an attractive option and attractive for the employees to live here as well. And next slide, please. So with that, I know that was really quick, a very quick overview. However, I do want to say that feel free to reach out at any time, and I will be sending a longer slide deck which talks all about Calgary. So definitely fun to read in terms of, what we have to offer, what our industries are, what our employment rates are. So I definitely encourage you to dive into that, and also feel free to reach out to myself at any time. My email is here. I'm always happy to talk about the city and Greywood's projects that they have in the city. I am quite familiar with, and they are a great product, a great product offering for our city here in Calgary. So with that, I'm going to introduce Kaylee here, who's going to be able to talk a bit more about Park South.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Kimberly. We couldn't be more excited to be bringing you Park South at Fish Creek Exchange, and already the interest and demand for this project has been absolutely incredible. And to be honest, there were so many things that I wanted to share with you today, but most importantly, I want to share with you what makes Park South stand out from the rest, what the investment opportunity looks like, and of course, the exclusive offering for you and your clients. I know you're going to be blown away by just how amazing this opportunity is. Next slide, please. So Park South is a boutique building of less than 50 homes, and nearly 60% of our suites are priced under $350,000. With 2 bedrooms starting from the $280s, I know these suites are going to sell quick, so you'll need to act fast and make sure you get the information out to your clients as soon as possible. Not to mention that all of these prices include parking and locker. We are offering a low 5% deposit, and all of these suites do cash flow positive, so your clients can start making money right away as soon as they take occupancy of these suites. Closing costs in Alberta are also exceptionally low in comparison to other major Canadian cities. We have no land transfer tax, there's no development charges or interim occupancy charges, which makes your overall closing costs and out-of-pocket costs for your clients incredibly low. We have a fantastic collection of 1, 2, and 2-in-1 layouts. All of them have been well thought out and are beautiful, beautiful layouts. Next slide, please. There are a few things and important points that you should note about Park South. As I mentioned, over 60% of our release suites are priced under $350,000 with parking and locker included. Every home does include a spacious balcony or terrace, and construction is slated to commence in the spring of 2021, so spring of this year. We're targeting a Q1 of 2023 occupancy, and Park South is located in the highly desirable and sought after community of Shawnee Park, where over 20% of the community is designated to green space, parks, and pathways, which is almost unheard of in Calgary. And Shawnee Park was the Build Calgary Community of the Year award winner. Next slide, please. As Patrick touched on earlier, Greywood only selects AAA locations, and Park South is no exception. When it comes to South Calgary locations, there really is no comparison. Park South is 50 steps from Canada's second largest urban park, Fish Creek Provincial Park, which is beloved by Calgarians. And in this day and age of many people working from home, how fantastic is it to be able to take your lunch in Fish Creek Park, go for a hike, grab your bike after work, grab your dog, and go for a quick 20-minute run in Canada's second largest urban park. We're also 3-minute walk to the LRT station. And I think it's really important to note that Park South is the only new community in Calgary with direct LRT access. And you're less than a 20-minute commute into downtown Calgary. And you're also connected to the major post-secondary institutions as well. You're about 30 minutes from the University of Calgary, 25 minutes from SAIT, and only 8 blocks away from St. Mary's University, which is about a 10-minute walk from Park South. Park South is also surrounded by over 250 urban amenities and is less than 5 minutes to Stony Trail, which is also known as the Ring Road, which makes every part of Calgary very, very accessible. And of course, you're only about an hour and a half away from the world-class mountain parks and ski resorts of Banff and Canmore. Next slide, please. So on this slide here, you see just a snapshot of all the urban amenities that surround Park South. And as you can see, there's an abundance of services and amenities to choose from. Over 250 urban amenities that are right at your doorstep. Next slide, please. But first of all, let's dive into what the investment and what makes this such an amazing opportunity. So to start with, let's take a look at the benefits your clients have of buying in Calgary. So in Calgary, you can take advantage of affordable prices, a low 5% deposit, no development charges, no land transfer tax, no foreign buyers tax, and no rental cap. Some of the things that you'll also note in Toronto is that we do have a quality product and it is built by a developer that you know and trust. Next slide, please. So not only do your clients have incredibly low out-of-pocket costs, but every single suite cash flows, as you can see from this chart. So this is a detailed rental analysis that will also be available for you to send to your clients at the end of this presentation. Next slide, please. So I wanted to take a look at a few of our favorite suites. So I've got 2 suites that we've selected here that are very Calgary friendly and offer functional layouts that are highly sought after by Calgarians. So first up is our C model, which is a 2-bedroom starting in the 280s. This suite rents for about $1,500 a month, which translates into an annual cash flow of about $2,100. Next slide, please. And next up is our E model, which is one of my favorite plans. This suite is about 852 square feet. And what I really love about this suite is that you do have both bedrooms on separate sides of the home, and both bedrooms do have windows with access to bathrooms and lots of storage space. So these suites start from the low 300s and rent for about $1,700 a month, which is an annual cash flow of over $2,700 a year. So both of these make fantastic opportunities for your clients, and all of the floor plans will be available on our agent portal after this presentation. So next slide, please. And the opportunity just keeps getting better. We're offering exclusive limited time launch incentives for both you and your clients. So for your clients, they can take advantage of a fantastic price point with 60% of our suites under $350. They get a low 5% deposit, and they will also be able to take advantage of our popular 3-year rental program and free assignments. Next slide, please. And for you, we are offering a 4% commission plus a retroactive bonus structure where you can take advantage of an extra $20,000 in bonuses with 4 sales or more. And if that doesn't get you excited, you also have an opportunity to be a part of Greywood Calgary's Platinum Agent Group, where you can take advantage of additional incentive opportunities and get first access to future Greywood Calgary releases, including our upcoming Eau Claire project. Next slide, please. So what are the next steps? This exclusive offer is only available until February 28th, and all units will be sold on a first come, first served basis by worksheet submission, and we will be accepting worksheets immediately. So all worksheets can be sent to our Fish Creek Exchange email address here, where they will be date and time stamped upon submission. All deposits will be accepted by wire transfer or direct deposit, and all deals will be signed electronically through Avesdo, so making the buying process very, very easy for your clients. And all deals will be completed within 24 hours of worksheet and deposit receipt. Next slide, please. And immediately after this presentation, you'll have access on our exclusive agent portal, which you can find directly on our website. You'll have access to a complete brochure, all of the Park South floor plans, our exclusive VIP agent preview price list, limited time incentives for you and your clients, Greywood's Guide to Purchasing in Calgary, and direct access to our Calgary team. Our exclusive agent portal will be live with all of these assets at the end of this presentation. You'll also note on this slide here, it does note our case-sensitive password, so make sure you write that down and log in immediately after the presentation to get all the info. Next slide, please. So many of you have been chatting with Andrea on our Theodore team, and I also wanted to introduce you to our Park South sales team. So Sandy Tang, Cindy Chang, and Andrea are all ready and available to help answer any questions you might have and to assist you through the process of getting these deals done. So give them a call at 587-481-3111. You can also text that number or email them info@fishcreekexchange.ca. Next slide, please. So I wanted to thank you all for taking the time to tune in today. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A box along with your name. And our team will reach out with you directly to answer any questions and help guide you through the process. I know they're very excited to chat with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kaylee. That concludes our presentation today. As Kaylee mentioned, if you have any questions, our team's completely available, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for your time. Take care.